Delta Airlines is widely regarded as one of the best airlines in the US, with many people having them at the top of their list of US airlines. I will be putting that to the test today as I fly Delta on a 4-hour flight from Baltimore to Salt Lake City aboard their A321 in economy class. Even though it was quite early on the day after Christmas, the check-in counters were quite busy. The line to check in with an agent was much shorter than the line to self-check for baggage, so I decided to get in that line and was through check-in in about 10 minutes. The D&E gates at BWI use one security checkpoint, up the ramp from the check-in desks. This checkpoint can get quite backed up, especially when there are lots of flights leaving these two concourses, as there were today, with Spirit, Delta, and United all having several flights leaving within 40 minutes of each other. Luckily, the pre-check line was quick, and I was airside in about 5 minutes. The D gates at BWI are used by all domestic airlines except for American and Southwest, so Spirit, Frontier, United, Delta, Alaska, and Avelo all use this concourse. Delta's gates are at the far end of the concourse, and today I would be departing from gate D26. Concourse D, like all the other concourses at BWI, is quite nice. There are several shops and restaurants, and plenty of seating is available at every gate. Most of the shops and restaurants were open even at 6 in the morning. The concourse is pretty modern and clean, and is very pleasant to fly through. Even over in the A, B, and C gates where Southwest has its hub, the terminal never feels that crowded and cramped. BWI is by far my favorite of all three DC area airports to fly out of. Not long after I got to the gate, we began our boarding process. Delta boards in 8 groups, with each group corresponding to a different ticket or status level through Delta. Because of my credit card, I was able to board in Group 5, though standard economy passengers will otherwise board in Group 6. This A321, with registration November 388 Delta November, seats 191 passengers in a 2-class configuration, with 20 seats in first class in a 2-2 configuration and 171 in economy in a 3-3 configuration. The seats on Delta are very comfortable and offer about 31 inches of pitch and about 3 or so inches of recline, and are about 18 inches wide. They feature an adjustable headrest and have great padding. The seat back in front of you has a full-size tray table and an IFE screen with a USB port and headphone jack. There are also universal power ports under the seats, with 2 ports per 3 seats. We pushed back right on time, though we did have to stop for de-icing, which added about 20 minutes. Enjoy this great sunrise departure from BWI's runway 28. As we settle into our cruising altitude, let's take a look at Delta's IFE system. Delta has equipped its entire mainline fleet, minus the Boeing 717s, with seatback TV screens. This A321 features Delta's most updated system, which features the so-called Delta Sync, which allows SkyMiles members to log in and be able to save content for future flights, resume something that they started on a previous flight, and best of all, allows people to see personalized information about their connecting flights. Other than the Delta Sync, there's a wide selection of movies and TV shows, several different live TV channels, and an excellent flight map which features loads of information about the flight and has several different map angles. There is also free Wi-Fi for all SkyMiles members, and it worked incredibly well on this flight. It was incredibly fast, and I was even able to live stream soccer on my phone without any sort of drop-off in quality or buffering. About an hour into the flight, the crew came around with the snack service. They offered 3 or 4 choices with snacks, and I went for a couple packets of Biscoff cookies and an orange juice. The bathroom on the A321 is a basic airplane bathroom, and it was quite small, though it was clean, which is always good. The rest of the flight proceeded relatively uneventfully, though we did experience a lot of turbulence. The turbulence got really bad as we crossed into Colorado, which prevented the cabin crew from doing their second snack service, which they would usually do on flights of this length. It was very bumpy for the entire last hour of the flight, though it wasn't so bad that anyone got sick. This flight was a really pleasant experience. The seat was comfortable and had good recline, and the fact that the bottom of the seat slides forward when you recline makes the seat much more comfortable when reclined. The fact that Delta offers several different choices for snacks and gives you 2 different snacks is a bonus over American, which seems to relish giving as few snacks as possible for free. The fact that Delta usually offers 2 snack services on longer domestic flights is also a bonus, and while it sucks that we didn't get that second service on this flight, it was for a valid reason. Unlike other airlines, who I've flown on for 5 or 5.5 hour cross-country flights and have only been given a small baggie of pretzels. The IFE system is really great, but by far, the best thing about this flight was the free Wi-Fi. It was ridiculously fast for the entire flight, and my connection was as good as it would have been on the ground. Enjoy these views of a snowy Salt Lake City as we make our final approach onto runway 16 left.
Welcome to Salt Lake, where the local time is 9:34. Please stay seated with your seatbelt fastened and carry items stored until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. Be careful and open overhead vents to avoid any from items that may.
The taxi at Salt Lake City was a bit long, as we landed on one side of the airport and our gate was on the completely opposite side, which necessitated passing literally every single gate before we finally pulled into our gate A24. Thank you all for watching, and if you all enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you all on my next trip report.